Got it.
Hello, everyone. Jason Hagholm here, and I am here with Devon, the Dream Lozej. Devon is going to be making his professional mixed martial arts debut August 15th with BTC Fight Promotions. Devon, thanks for coming on, and excited for a future Canadian prospect making his pro debut.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
So Devon, I mean, you signed with Dodge Sports back in June, and a couple days ago here in July, you get a fight booked, and in August, you get to step into the cage making your pro debut. I mean, that's a win-win situation for you signing with a brand new management.
Yeah, for sure. I asked for August, and ask and you shall receive. We're ready to go for August 15th in BTC.
So Devon, how did this, how has the past year been? Obviously you were competing a lot as an amateur in 2019, obviously 2020, the pandemic happens, shuts everything down. How were you able to handle and cope with that? And now being active and training again, preparing for a fight?
It was good. Honestly, at first it was kind of with the pandemic, you didn't know how long it was going to last. So I'm just was still training, doing my thing, working on new skills, everything like that. And then, things just kind of kept going longer and longer. It was harder to book fights, especially here in Canada. Went down to the US to do some training at Rufus Sport. And then, hooked up with the new management, got a fight, boom. So, a couple blessings in disguise, but pretty good.
What was the training like at Rufus Sport? Because obviously they've been turning out killer after killer.
Great. Good training, hard training, hard sparring. Just good. Their pro practices are how they should be. Duke Rufus is a G. He knows how to do it down there. And, I love the team down there and everyone down there.
How'd you get hooked up with Rufus Sport?
Actually, one of my buddies that fights out of there, I wanted to come down. I stayed at his place. He's fighting out of there. So had a little bit of connection. I know some guys, that I met at TriStar Gym in Montreal that trained down there, and they only had good things to say. So, and I'm willing to go anywhere and train. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially getting in that great work with, elite level competitors like Anthony Pettis, Sergio Pettis, Rafael Stotts, the whole, kit and caboodle there. But, you're making your pro debut here with BTC, and, BTC right now, they're turning a lot of guys pro and getting their pro feet wet in the pro scene there. How excited are you to compete with BTC Fight Promotions?
I'm stoked, man, to be honest. Like when I mapped, even as an amateur, when I kind of was mapping out where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do, BTC, I definitely had eyes on because I'm from Ontario here, Thunder Bay. And, they're a promotion here. I've been following, watching their fights, just kind of scouting everything. So it was definitely in the vision. So, it worked out.
And how excited are you? I mean, it's a show for BTC, but it is a show in Alberta, but it will have fans in attendance, unlike their last one in Vancouver where there weren't fans. So you get to hear the roar of the crowd once again. Yeah,
for sure. Well, I was kind of excited for a no fan fight, just going through the pandemic, watching the UFC live with no audience, there was something special to that. I definitely wanted to experience that, but I'm not going to complain with full capacity. That's going to be awesome.
Especially with a pre-sale code there to help bump some gate for yourself trying to sell some tickets.
For sure, man. It's gonna be good, man. It's coming up fast. I got some friends that live close to there that are gonna be coming out, so I'll have a little bit of support. I know my opponent's from Alberta, but we're taking over that place that night. So
that's what I liked here. I was gonna ask you, gonna have some friends and family out there in attendance since you can now in Alberta with pretty much COVID restrictions gone out there.
Yeah. So it will be good. A lot of my friends, family, teammates, stuff are just because we're so far away are going to be watching on pay-per-view. But, it doesn't matter if they're there or watching from far. I'm just happy to have the support of friends and family.
So Devon, with the time off in 2020, sharpening your skills, what can fans expect to see from you as you make your pro debut August 15th for BTC?
Expect pure violence. That's all I'm coming with, man. I'm going to finish this guy. And I'm going to hurt him bad, real bad.
What were some of the skills you sharpened up, as you alluded to before? What were some of the skills you sharpened up as you head into your pro debut?
Everything, to be honest. Things that I'm good at, I continued to work at because, a lot of people in this game, you're good at something and then you just kind of, so that you're like, I'll do it twice a week. And then, I've just focused on just getting better at everything, not even my strengths, making them even sharper so they're more dangerous, working on my striking, wrestling, grappling, everything, you know? So I feel like I'm more well-rounded than I've ever been. And it's going to be like, I feel dangerous right now. So it's going to be good.
Do you feel any more pressure with this being a pro MMA fight than some of your amateur fights?
Nah, a fight's a fight, you know, maybe it's a little bit longer, 5-minute rounds, but I've always wanted the 5-minute rounds. I feel like there's more time to work, more time to finish. And, you know, there's less likelihood of a decision, you know, guys fade out and, you know, I don't fight to go to decision anyway. So the longer the fight, the better. Let's get them 10-minute pride rounds going in BTC. Let's go.
Well, you got to talk to the athletic commissions about that, Devon. But I'm with you. I'm down for
Alberta. Do it. Let's go Alberta.
I'm down for those. I love the rule set there anyway, how they had it in Japan and still do to an extent. What do you know about your opponent in Albaraa Atmeh, whose brother is actually also fighting on this card?
Okay, so I believe I watched his brother fight on the last BTC because I was just watching, scouting, seeing who's fighting. I don't know too much, you know, my coaches kind of take care of that. I haven't really looked into it. I just got sent the contract and I signed it. So I know his name and that's all I really need to know. And I hope he's going to be there August 15th. That's all I could hope for.
Yeah, exactly. So you're one of those guys that you let your coaches kind of watch the tape and try to develop the game plan around it.
Yeah. You know, I don't put much, I got to put focus into myself, you know, training 2-3 times a day for a fight like this, you know, it's exhausting enough. So, you know, I'm not going in looking at all this stuff, trying to come up with this. My coaches handle that. They come in, they tell me what we need to do, and then we do work, and that's it. And, you know, I'm going to see him August 15th. So whatever he's got, we're going to find out real fast.
Yeah, I think you're really selling yourself and this fight up to be really well, especially what Atmeh's brother did at the last one. So we know that the Atmeh lineage has some severe toughness and can take a punch and as well dish out some punishment. But Devon, you said, you know, you're from Thunder Bay. What's the MMA scene like up there in Thunder Bay?
You know, it's kind of right. Like, you know, we're coming back on. We got a few fighters coming on. Obviously me making my pro debut. There's some good amateurs and stuff. And there used to be a lot of pros at the gym that I was at. Matt Veal, guys like that fought in Bellator, things like that. And then there was just kind of a little bit of a break in our gym. You know what I mean? Just guys up and coming and stuff. So I feel like we kind of went on a little bit of a hiatus, but Leading Edge Gym is back and we're coming for some big things this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know Bobby Poulter's another guy, I believe, from Thunder Bay as well. So there's some good Canadian talent coming out of Thunder Bay. I mean, I haven't experienced time up in Thunder Bay. My wife is originally from Thunder Bay, but can't imagine there was a lot to do except, you know, getting some scraps as a youngster. Yeah,
growing up, you know, where I'm actually from Dryden, Ontario, which is close to Thunder Bay here. And where I grew up, you just fight. I don't know. People fight all the time. It's just part of life, you know, coming from small towns, all the small towns around, people want to fight. And I've always loved fighting. So I'm not going to say no to a fight.
I guess, you know, before we wind things down, Devon, as you know, you're from Thunder Bay, you've got this big fight coming. How'd you discover mixed martial arts?
So I started with wrestling when I was 14, but even before that, you know, growing up as a kid, I was watching pro wrestling. Obviously, you know, The Rock, Stone Cold, all those guys when I was really young. And then my dad turned me on to UFC. He was watching, I think it was a lot, George St. Pierre, Matt Hughes, their first fight, maybe back in like 2004. I remember he was renting the pay-per-view, was like, you got to watch this. And I watched it. And like, it just, as soon as I seen it, I was like, that's what I'm going to do with my life. I knew it. I didn't know how, when, where, but I knew I was going to do it. So I just started where I'm from. We didn't have MMA. So I just started wrestling because I seen these guys like GSP, Matt Hughes have wrestling. And I'm like, I need that, obviously, if I'm going to fight. So I started with wrestling, fell in love with that. And then here we are.
Exactly. And as you said, you were a big pro wrestling fan as a kid. Is that kind of why you incorporated the dream in there? Kind of like Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream?
It wasn't specifically from that. The dreams just kind of, you know, came like, this is the dream to me, you know, chasing, becoming a UFC world champion, just fighting for a living, doing all the things I love. That's the dream. So yeah, maybe there's a WWE aspect to it, but
if you could compare yourself to, I guess, a past, or even if you still watch currently a WWE wrestler or pro wrestler in general, who would we say who would you compare yourself to there, Devon?
Let's see, probably the who am I thinking of? Maybe Stone Cold. You know, I really love The Rock, but you know, Stone Cold was the baddest mother effer there is. That's what I'm trying to be here. So
Well, Devon, hopefully on August the 15th, you get to stomp a mud hole and walk it dry as you make your professional mixed martial arts debut against Albaraa Atmeh. Devon, before I let you go, plug yourself out there on social media, because people need to follow you and discover your talents and get a look on you before you even step into the BTC cage August 15th.
So yeah, follow me on Instagram at DALOZEJ. That's my Instagram. I'm pretty active on there. You know, send me a message. Let's talk. Give me a follow. I'll follow you back. Also, shout out to my gym, Leading Edge, my coach, Matt Riche, and Dodge Sports. Let's go.
All right, that's Devon the Dream Lozej. He's making his professional mixed martial arts debut Sunday, August 15th against Albaraa Atmeh for BTC Fight Promotions at BTC 11 in Edmonton, Alberta. Devon, thank you for the time.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.